Good morning. Welcome to Sites Family Farms. Today we're going to be talking about the next step in planning for the 2021 garden. And this is all based on your last frost date here in northern Indiana. It's January 5th, but the week of the 5th to the 9th, it's all about the same. We are 15 to 16 weeks before our projected last frost. And a couple of things that we can do to prepare, even though we're not planting anything out there today, for the coming season. So outside, we talked a little bit about it before, making sure all the tools are clean and sharp, and if you're anything like me, maybe one or two was left down in the garden and it needs a little bit of rehab. So that's one thing we can do, make sure they're all clean, sharp. If something broke last year at the end of the season, it's a good time to buy it. They're probably on sale or a little cheaper right now. Garden planning this is a great time to do it. This is when we're doing it. We've already purchased our seeds, so we have a general plan. But to really hone in on that, I've got another video coming out really soon. So like and subscribe and click the bell over there, and you'll see when that comes out. Sorry, I have some notes down here. There are a couple of things we can plant inside. If you're anything like us, you're getting a little bit hungry for fresh herbs and greens and things like that. You can start them inside now if you have a good seed starting rig. We use shop lights from Menards and a shelving unit that was less than about $100 to set up and can start between 250 and 350 seedlings depending on the size that we're starting. But this time of year I can throw a couple of thyme bushes and some basil, parsley, oregano, things like that down there, so that when it is sunnier outside and we're getting that consistent sun in the windows, those plants will be more mature, so I can bring them up and we can start using those 2 months before, or a month and a half, 2 months before our final frost date. Another thing that you can start now, because they do start pretty slowly, are your alliums, your onions, your leeks, things like that. The way that we prefer to do it is I will hydrate the seeds. I've got a video on that, but essentially I use a condiment cup, the little 2-ounce ones that you would get like ketchup or something like that in, and a damp paper towel. Put the seeds on top and put a lid on, and I put that in a warm area. A few days, sometimes up to a week later, depending on the seed, those will start to germinate. At that point, I will overseed the alliums very, very heavily into a 12-ounce plastic cup, which is what we start all of our seeds in, our seedlings in. And they grow kind of like grass, but they grow very slowly. We will have a video on how to break those up and plant them later. But for now, this is a good time to start those seeds and get that process going, because they do germinate slowly, and in the very beginning they grow very, very slowly. So we still have plenty of time where we can do that. If you have a compost pile, which I strongly recommend, this is a good time, if it's not frozen, to go out with a fork and turn it so we're still building that heat. You will be amazed with how much heat is down in the bottom of that compost, and we want to get the stuff that's sitting on top down in there. If you're like us, you may have an issue where chickens like to get into the compost pile and they turn it, but they also just make a giant mess out of it. So that's something that we can do there. We've gone through and made sure that we have our seed starting trays, that they're clean, because we don't save them from year to year without cleaning them with hot soapy water, just to make sure there aren't any parasites or pests or things like that that are going to come along with us. We are not an organic grower. We had so much pest pressure last year that I needed to resort to some pesticides. I'm trying to get away from that. So another thing that we're doing right now is going online and placing our order preemptively for ladybugs and praying mantises. We had a huge squash bug problem, and praying mantises and ladybug will help with that, and the ladybugs will just help with a lot of other things. We'll try to put them in different parts of the garden, but we may lose some ladybugs to praying mantises, but that's just how things go. That's kind of our garden prep this week. It's not a whole lot we can do, but we can still be ready and take a couple of steps to get us closer. Again, I ask you to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.